PlayStation Plus has been pretty hit or miss this year, with mostly misses. I would say there's nothing previously interesting to me from the first half of the year. The second half of the year, starting with June, we had God of War. July, we had Crash Bandicoot 4, which I played to death with my wife because she absolutely loves Crash Bandicoot. In August, we had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, and in September, we had Need for Speed Heat. Outside of that, I wasn't too impressed with the PlayStation Plus lineup, but in December, we definitely have a lineup. My name is Josh, and I am the Dadimer, and I talk gaming news and current events from a busy person's perspective. Psh. The month of December for PlayStation Plus is actually pretty impressive when you think of the fact that they're giving you 5 games in 1 month. We have the Mass Effect Legendary Collection, which is Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, all remastered for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I haven't seen any PS5 or Xbox Series X versions yet, but these games are updated for at least previous gens systems. In addition to Mass Effect, we have Biomutant and Divine Knockout. Mass Effect is really fun. Mass Effect I've actually sunk 15 hours into so far. I'm 15 hours through the first game. It has a lot of 80s sci-fi music, which is really nice, especially if you listen to it in the headphones. The choices you make in this game affect the next game, and then affect the next game after that. I have heard that the ending of Mass Effect 3 is pretty controversial, so I unfortunately did not get around to playing Mass Effect when I had a PS3. The first one was an Xbox 360 exclusive, and by the time the second one came out, the second one was also for PlayStation 3, but it came out a little later than the initial release. I think it came out about a year after it came out on Xbox 360, if I remember correctly. It looked better, but I didn't realize that the second game had a cartoon, kind of a digital graphic novel to keep you up to date on the first game. So therefore, I didn't also play the third game. So now's your chance if you haven't played these games at all. These games are actually really good. They're considered some of the best games of all time. You can play as male or female Shepard. If you have ever seen the show Chuck, the actors who played Sarah and Casey are both in here, as well as Seth Green and Jennifer Hale, to the queen of voice acting herself. The shooting in this game, I will say, is maybe a tiny bit outdated. There's a lot of repetition in the enemies, and it kind of feels a little tedious, but the RPG aspects of this game are really nice because of your choices, how they affect the first game, also go into the second game. So that's pretty cool if you haven't picked up this game already. It's a nice little addition to your PlayStation Plus library. Biomutant is an interesting looking game. I have not personally played this one. I wanted to play this one, but I haven't gotten around to actually playing yet. It looked like a game that I would be like, like it looks like a good sale price game. It looks like you play as a cat in an action RPG game. There's been lots of friends talking this one up, and now that it's free, it's a nice addition to the PlayStation Plus library. Divine Knockout, I've never heard of this game before. Let me know if you guys have seen any trailers for it. It's a new game. It's a new game made for the PlayStation Plus library. So with that, this kind of comes full circle to the PlayStation Plus service as it is. Last year, I bought 3 years of PlayStation Plus for $90, and that was before the tiers came out, and now the tiers exist. I hear from both people on YouTube and from some of my friends that the top tier is not exactly worth the money, because what Sony advertised with the top tier was PSP games, PS1 games, in addition to all the other stuff. And it doesn't seem like they've quite delivered on their promise with that. I mean, I believe there are some of those classic games on there, but there haven't been really a ton of that. And it kind of reminds me of Nintendo online service, where they're kind of just drip feeding you the games as far as that goes. So Not really a huge fan of that in my opinion. PSP games and PS1 games are kind of your selling point when it comes to that tier service. A lot of people I hear talk about the mid tier being the most worth it. There's not quite brand new games on there. For instance, like if you were to subscribe to Hulu and you get brand new shows on there the very next day, it's not quite like that. It's more like Netflix where you have year-old stuff at least on there. But a lot of those games that are on that mid-tier price are definitely all good solid games. It just could be games that you've either already bought or already played or borrowed or something at that point. So to me it doesn't seem like it competes with Game Pass as far as the day one games go. So, but I also don't think Sony has any plans to compete on that level with them. It seems like the service with PlayStation is more meant to be complementary and not substitutionary, if that makes sense. If you're on the Essential plan, it seems like they're slowly pushing you to a higher tier. So I'm kind of in a situation where I'm still paying for those 3 years, and I'm actually going to be Googling and seeing if I can just roll over what's left over into that mid-tier plan just to get the best bang for my buck. So let me know if the comments if you know if I can do that. I'm certainly going to be Googling it and checking out. Tell me in the comment section if you, as a consumer of PlayStation Plus tier at some point, think it's worth it. I think for busy gamers, it's kind of a hard sell as far as monthly subscriptions for games like this. I invested $90 for 3 years because I mean if you split it out, I mean I think it was something like $5 a month for 3 years, which I thought was pretty cheap. What value are they still giving you with this? So I think with the time being more valuable, it's easier to buy games like Sonic Frontiers, if you're playing bigger games like Skyrim and The Witcher 3, which I have a couple of buddies who play both those games on PC, and that's kind of all they play. So a subscription tier like this is kind of not exactly worth it for them. It's just kind of a hard sell when you're playing bigger games like that. Extra does seem like the most worth it to me. Let me know if it's worth your time in the comments below. Well, that's all for today. Until the next video, go spend time with your families, go ace that next test, and go pass touchdowns before playing Call of Duty. I'll see you on the next one.